for you and me.
Hello and welcome to Ask Around Yorktown. I'm DAVIA BUGGE, the Student Assistance Counselor at Yorktown High School and also the Faculty Co-Advisor of the SAD Club. And I'm here with a couple of students from Yorktown and they're going to tell us about the club and their involvement. So welcome, Julie ROTHBERG and KARABIROLDI. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. Thank you. So Julie, could you tell us what is the SAD Club?
Well, SAD stands for Students Against Destructive Decisions, and it's a national organization and it's led by students, and it's meant to promote positive activities and it's against alcohol and drug uses.
Okay. And do you, Kara, know anything about the name change, what it used to be called?
Yeah, it was Students Against Drug or something. Drugs.
Drunk driving.
Drunk driving.
Right. Students Against Drunk Driving.
That's right.
And they changed the name to kind of encompass
all of it.
More risky behaviors and unhealthy behaviors. So can you tell me, Kara, how many members are in the SAD Club?
It's a large group. There's about 60 students in it right now. It changes from year to year, but it's a large club. It's really popular around school.
Okay. And Julie, can you tell me about the leadership of the club? How does that work? Do they have one president?
Well, it's led by students, so our club in particular has two co-presidents, and they're Marissa Tranchese and Tyler Fahey, and we also have a treasurer, Jimmy Fallon, and a secretary, Aileen Kirpus.
And do you know what grade they're in?
They're all seniors.
They're all seniors, okay. And so we have representatives from every class in the club?
Yeah, the members of the club are freshmen up to seniors, so there's a lot of people in our club.
And how does the club work, Kara? What happens if you wanted to be a part of SAD Club, or how does it operate?
Well, you go to meetings, like every other week there's a meeting held, and to sign up for SAD, you just have to show up to a meeting. And it's fairly easy to join. You have to obviously make good decisions and stuff like that.
Okay. And how do you know about meetings, when they're going to occur, where they're going to occur?
It's posted around school, and maybe like an announcement will be made during the morning announcements. And it's really well known. The students know when there's a meeting.
Okay. And what does SAD Club do, Kara?
Well, we do good deeds, and we also try to make the student body aware of making healthy decisions and doing the right thing, avoiding alcohol and drug use.
Do you have anything to add, Julie, about what SAD Club does?
Well, a lot of students think that it's just for going against destructive decisions, which it is, but we also do a lot of good things for the community. So it's also to promote good ideas as well as against bad ideas.
Okay. Can you talk about some of the activities that SAD Club has promoted or been involved in?
Well, in the beginning of the year, especially around the holidays, we like to raise money, and we raise money particularly around Thanksgiving so that we can go buy turkeys for families who can't afford them, and we also adopt 2 students or younger children that are less fortunate, and we like to buy gifts for them so that they can spread the cheer around Christmas time.
Okay, so those are community service kind of activities or events. So the purchase of the turkeys are for St. Mary's, and that's a church in Mohegan Lake, and that's how they distribute them to the families. Do you know anything about the gifts at the holiday time for the poor students?
Well, the students in the club, we go shopping, and we all donate money for the presents or the jackets, whatever you're buying for the children that we adopt.
Right.
And at one of the meetings, we'll wrap the gifts that we bought. And it's really exciting because we know that we're helping less fortunate children.
And getting them the things that they need for the winter.
Yeah, they
to
give
stay
us
warm.
a list of what they would like.
Right, and then
we try to meet their needs or wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the community service things. Oh, there was something else, Julie, that SAD Club did. They went over to the field home.
Oh yeah, we went Christmas caroling for people who are in a field home, and it's nice to see them up and about and just get them in a cheery mood.
Yeah, they love it.
Yeah.
They love it. They're happy to see you guys. It's like we come in mass. We have to take 2 elevator trips, right, to get to see all the people on both floors. Okay. So can you talk, Kara, a little bit about the education and the awareness raising that's done as far as high-risk behavior versus healthy behavior?
Well, at our school, we do activities to make students aware of what bad behavior looks like or like what not to do. For example, we had like mocktails where we made drinks without alcohol, so to represent like having fun without drinking alcohol. We made pina coladas and strawberry daiquiris, and on the cups that we put them in, we put facts and like tips on how to like have fun without being dangerous or unhealthy like decisions. Julie, you have anything to add?
Well, also that day, to promote not using alcohol, there was a Stop DWI stimulator outside. So the students that had their permits or their license were able to go outside, and from the town they supplied the stimulator that lets you kind of see what it's like to be in that dangerous.
Right, it's like a big van, and it's sponsored by the Westchester County Police Department, and they have it's like a virtual, like video games inside, and so you actually drive it like you're at the driving game at the arcade, and then it shows you what it would be, what driving conditions would be like if it were raining, you know, and how that would affect your ability to control the car, and then if you had if you were intoxicated and had alcohol in your system. So obviously no one's intoxicated when they're using this machine, but it simulates how your reaction is slowed. You know, like when you hit the brakes, there's a delay, or when you turn the wheel, it could, you know, shows how you could over or under compensate. So that was done that day, and then we also had the foggles. Do you remember using the foggles, Julie?
Oh yeah, sometimes the police go to the elementary schools and you get to experience that. And it blurs your vision as if you were intoxicated and gives you an idea of how dangerous it could be.
Right. So then we do the mock field sobriety. So it's, you know, kind of the stereotypical activities where we walk a straight line or, you know, balance on one foot, and how when your vision is impaired, and you're not really intoxicated, obviously, but your coordination is off. You know, so it gives people kind of a first-hand experience of how that could affect them and their abilities. So all those 3 activities were done on the same day, and that was for Alcohol Awareness Month, which is April.
Yeah.
And so the mocktails, how did you guys do that? How did you organize it? How was it set up?
Well, in the cafeteria during our lunch periods, we had several students brought in blenders, and we had some funds to buy supplies, so we set up 2 different drinks, a strawberry daiquiri and a pina colada, which didn't have alcohol, and students came, and we also made it kind of a fundraiser, so they were $1 each, and students could get them during their lunch periods, and on the cups they had facts. We were trying to spread awareness about alcohol.
Do you remember some of the facts?
I don't remember all of them, but I know one of them was some information about the alcohol content that's in drinks, just to give you an awareness of what's inside
that them. If you have a beer, that there's the same amount of alcohol in that beer as in a shot of liquor, as in a glass of wine, so people understand that those servings contain the same amount of alcohol. And there were some, so those were right on the cups.
Yeah, but they also give out some brochures with like additional information, so you could learn from that as well. There's more information on the brochure than the cup. Obviously you can't fit all the information on there. We just put a few facts on the cups.
And there was, you wrote on them too with Sharpie. There was some sayings. Do you remember what the sayings were on the cup?
I just remember it saying like sad, and I don't really know what else.
That was written on there, and there was friends don't let friends drink and drive is one of those taglines, and party safe, party sober is one of the tags, right? And what did the cups look like?
They were the red Solo cups that are at like the typical party per se, like in movies you'll see them, and it like represented what you would see at a party and how you could have no alcohol in that and still have fun. It was a lot of fun at our school. Everyone enjoyed it. Everyone was buying the mocktails.
It was a popular event. It drew a lot of attention. It drew a big crowd. So the idea being that nobody knows what's in your cup, you know, that you can have a good time and do an activity that has nothing to do with alcohol, that alcohol doesn't equal partying or vice versa. Okay. So what else was done for April's alcohol awareness? Did we do anything else?
I'm not sure. Was there another activity that month?
I think.
Do we visit the schools?
That's Red Ribbon Week.
Oh, okay.
So do you know what Red Ribbon Week is and when it occurs?
It occurs in October. I know that. And is it to prevent drug use?
It's specifically about drug use, and it started back in the 80s. There was a DEA enforcement officer who was killed in the line of duty, and so it just kind of started this kind of grassroots movement about spreading awareness throughout the country. And so it's been a big part of Yorktown, you know, for a number of years, as long as I've been there. So Red Ribbon Week activities, SAD gets really involved in that. And what are some of the things that the SAD Club does?
Well, I know that we take pledges, or like to agree not to drink or drive, or whatever SAD stands for. Julie, what else do we do?
I know we went to the elementary schools during that month as well, and the elementary school students obviously aren't abusing drugs, but we like to teach them about positive behaviors. So we go in and we tell them to brush their teeth and go outside and play. And but they also we switch from red ribbons to red bracelets, but it still represents the same thing, that to make healthy choices and specifically not to abuse drugs.
So at the elementary school, you don't talk specifically about drug and alcohol use, but focus more on, you know, the kinds of healthy behaviors. So get outside and play and get some fresh air, rather than spending too much time in front of the television or the video games. And the kids love when the high school students come to the elementary school. And so you do the pledges, and different years we've done them in different ways. You know, we've had in the cafeteria this year, how did we have the pledges where the students pledged to make healthy decisions and avoid unhealthy decisions? What did it look like?
Well, the theme this year was that not to be healthy just for the week, but for life. So students wrote their pledges on leaves, and we spread them around the school, kind of branching off of a tree, and people's pledges not for just the week, but for life, to make healthy choices.
So this year it was on leaves.
Yeah, last year I recall doing like footsteps or something like that. Yeah, to like lead a path down the right way, I guess.
Exactly. Follow the steps to a healthy lifestyle, or follow the path to a healthy lifestyle.
Same thing.
Exactly, exactly. So we went over to the elementary school. The SAD students signed up to go over there and make that visit. And then what were some of the other activities during Red Ribbon Week? There were different ways where we got information out there, different ways we distributed the facts.
I think we hung up some signs giving people information about the dangers of it.
Throughout the building, just kind of flyers taped up. And there were announcements made during morning announcements. Other things that we do during Red Ribbon Week.
Did we do the Great Smokeout this year?
Yes. Yes, thank you for reminding me. That's at another time during the year. The Great American Smokeout is in November, and that's sponsored by the American Cancer Society. And so that's another time where we distribute information. So using tobacco products would be, you know, another risk behavior that SAD helps to discourage. And educate people about. So we were talking a little bit about, you know, attending meetings and when meetings are scheduled, and we have meetings more often when we're working on an activity. And so how do we organize the activity? How do we get people to run it and set it up?
Well, if someone has an idea that comes to them, they bring it to the attention of the group, and everyone's discussed it and pretty much agree on it, and then we have meetings, like you said, more often and plan.
And we do subcommittees. We'll have people sign up and say, well, I'm going to do this, or we're going to meet on this day and plan this out. So the mocktails activity that you guys were talking about, that took a lot of planning and organizing. It went really well, especially, you know, considering that was the first time we did the activity. So students during their free period were actually making, you know, those drinks in the cafeteria. And so they had to sign up, you know. So there's a contract also. Members of SAD sign a contract. Julie, can you tell me a little bit about what's on that contract?
Well, that's what you sign when you first come, your first time entering the group, but it's basically a pledge saying that not only are you not going to use drugs or alcohol, but you're also going to help other people see why they shouldn't use those drugs, and that you're going to be a positive role model for your friends and your peers in school.
Right. So the contract reads that you are never going to drink and drive yourself. You're never going to get in the car with somebody who's been drinking and driving. You're going to discourage your friends to the best of your ability from doing
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I remember on the contract it also talks about always wearing your seatbelt.
Yeah.
That's
safe.
certainly a healthy behavior. And you know, making the healthiest choices that you can and encouraging your friends to do the same. And that's, you know, the peer-to-peer empowerment that SAD stands for. So the primary goals of SAD, what is SAD trying to do, Kara?
To prevent drug and alcohol use, definitely like with younger children and teenagers, but like in general, pretty much. Yeah. But do you think anything more than that?
Yeah, I think we also do a good job of giving people the idea of things that you can do to have fun without having to make bad choices.
There are some activities that SAD plans that are specifically that, alternatives, positive alternatives to unhealthy behavior. Kara, what are some of the activities that SAD plans?
Well, besides the mocktails, which encourages healthy behavior, I think we mentioned most of them. I don't know.
I'm thinking specifically of things that SAD members do for fun, like the ski trip weekend
the ski
that they
trip,
planned.
that was like fun. On a weekend, you can go skiing with your friends. We all went, the whole entire group of us. We had a lot of fun on the SAD ski trip. I don't know what else.
There have been activities in past years that we did.
At the Six Flags?
Yes, the trip
Yes,
to Six
Six
Flags.
We're doing that again this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, we're
We're
not
not.
doing it this year.
Yeah.
We wanted to.
we
we wanted
wanted
to,
to.
but sometimes, you know, it's hard to get things
Planned,
together.
yeah.
That's why it's so great when SAD is able to put something together and pull it off, because it takes so, you know,
Much
it
planning.
takes so much planning, exactly, and, you know, a lot of involvement. So unfortunately this year the SAD trip to Great Adventure is off, but, you know, and students have talked about other things like going to a water park, you know, for the day with the other members of SAD. There's been times, I don't know if you girls ever participated in bowling nights and things like that.
I haven't been to one.
Yeah, so those are some of the ideas that that the membership brings up. So it's about discouraging unhealthy behaviors, encouraging healthy behaviors, having fun, you know, coming up with alternatives. What is your role in SAD? Julie, I'll start with you.
Well, Kara and I are both members in the club, and we kind of follow the role model that the leaders, the presidents, already set for us, and we definitely try to encourage our friends to join the group, and because there's so many people in it, a lot of people have no problem coming to join the group because we do so many fun activities. But I definitely, personally, like to help out in all the community service that we do. I like to have a positive impact on everyone that we go to help. Kara, what is your role?
Julie said it pretty much all. I mean, I like to participate as well and sign up for as much as I can, and that's she said it pretty much.
And you two do. I know I can always count on you guys, you know, to be participating in things. I'm always seeing you, and that's a good thing. So, how did it come about, or why did you get involved in SAD to begin with, Kara?
Well, my mom always tells me to be like involved with school and join clubs, and SAD Club is a very popular club in our school. So when I was a freshman, I decided to join, and I've been doing it ever since. I'm only a sophomore, but for 2 years, I really enjoy it. And it's just because they have a lot of flyers and it's well known. Yeah.
What about you, Julie? When you started, why did you feel like SAD Club was for you?
I also started as a freshman, and my brother and sister were both in SAD, and they really enjoyed being in the club, and I really liked what it promoted, and they had a good impact on me to join the club. So I hope that the both of us will, we don't have any younger siblings, but for people that we know in the middle school, that they will also want to join SAD when they get into the high school.
Were either of you involved in the middle school SAD Club?
Yeah, both of us were.
Both were.
Yeah, we like the idea that it promotes, so yeah.
So, Julie, how do we get the message out to the incoming class about how to get involved in SAD?
I think we've been doing a pretty good job already. When you first come into the high school, there's a big buddy program. So I remember coming into high school when you're being shown the school around, they tell you about all the best clubs to join, and they tell you definitely get involved. And I remember being told that SAD is a very popular club and that it's one that a lot of people like to get involved in. And I think that's a good way to influence the freshmen into joining the club.
So there's I don't know, did you mention about the 8th grade orientation night? That is something actually that's coming up, so that'll be another thing I'll be asking you guys to do. Is to come back in the evening. They usually start at 7 o'clock, and they they split the 8th grade into 2 groups, you know, by the alphabet, and they come with their parents, and you know, they hear a talk by the administrators just about the school, and the Big Buddies, which is another club at school, take them on a tour of the building so they know where everything is, and then we have representatives from each of the clubs, as many clubs as we can get representation for in the cafeteria, so students go around and hear about. But SAD Club is something that, you know, we talked earlier about it being a national organization, and it's, you know, when people hear SAD Club, you know, they have an idea about what that is.
Yeah, definitely.
And you know, because there's a SAD Club at the middle school, students
transfer
are
over, and like, they want to be a part of it still when they come into the high school if they were a part of it in the middle school.
Right.
Yeah.
So Kara, what are your plans as far as your future with SAD?
Well, I'm definitely going to continue doing it in high school. I may run to be like a president or one of the what's the word? Like
a leader?
A leader in it, or a representative of the SAD Club at our school. And yeah, I think Julie, you would do that as well.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to continue at high school and run as either a junior or senior for a leadership role.
Well, I'd certainly welcome both of you to try out for leadership. I know you'd be really good at it. You are leaders already, you know, maybe not in title, but just in being part of the group and being so involved, you know, and encouraging others to be involved. Absolutely. So what would you say, and Kara, I'm going to start with you, would be some of the most troubling patterns that you see as far as adolescence or, you know, in our community when you think about risk-taking?
Like at high school parties, there's underage drinking, of course, and like I see a lot of that. That's a concern for like the young teenagers. It's really dangerous and can cause health problems. Stuff like that. Drug use, it's really some easy access for people, so it's a really big concern.
Okay, so it's there, it's out there, and it's not hard to find, and so that's why the part about education is so important.
Yeah.
So that people kind of know
and are aware of the dangers of it, and they know that to make better decisions, that it's unhealthy and that they shouldn't be doing that, and there's other ways to have fun without it.
A big part of SAD Club is talking about these things and educating students about these things so they're prepared.
Yeah.
Rather than just coming into a situation and maybe not knowing what to do or feeling alone. SAD Club provides, you know, a lot of empowerment and a social group, you know, for students to say, well, these people have similar values.
Yes.
You know. So, Julie, so anything to add about what you think might be some of the most troubling issues for people your age, for students?
Well, I definitely agree with what Kara said, and it's troubling that I think that a lot of people think that it's okay and this is what I should be doing because there's a group of people that are definitely going to be at parties using alcohol and drugs, but having a SAD group, it's more of a group to look up to, or role models that people can say, well, they're not using drugs and alcohol, so maybe we shouldn't either. I think that's a good part that SAD plays.
That's a really good point. It's about, you know, dispelling myths or the idea that everybody is doing it. So SAD Club really helps to break that down and show people that that's not the truth, because it's not the truth. But, you know, as far as media, music, movies, television, there's a lot of messages, you know, about drug and alcohol use and it being acceptable and being kind of a part of growing up. And those things just aren't true. Like you were saying before, you want to get information to people.
Yeah, so they're aware.
Absolutely. So there's some other clubs, you were actually mentioning it to me earlier, Julie, that have a similar mission at Yorktown High School. You were mentioning VASA. I know you're not involved in VASA, but you've heard about it. So what can you tell me that you know as far as just a student at Yorktown? What is VASA?
Well, VASA is very similar to SAD, but it's specific to varsity athletes. So they do the same type of things that SAD does. They go and talk to the elementary school students, and it stands for Varsity Athletes Against Substance Abuse.
It does, yes.
So that's the same type of message, not using drugs or alcohol, but being a varsity athlete, that's definitely a big part of our school, that being an athlete especially, you don't want to be involved in those types of unhealthy choices.
Absolutely, because the athletes are role models. I mean, you're all role models. The athletes can role model to the younger athletes, you know, in the junior varsity teams or the freshman teams, and talk specifically about the effect substances might have on their athletic performance. You know, you talked a little bit earlier, Kara, about the health effects.
Yeah.
There's also, you know, effects on performance, athletically, academically. You know, it's more information to get out to students. So speaking of other clubs and sports, Kara, what are some of the things that you're involved in at Yorktown?
I'm a cheerleader, and I used to be a part of Key Club. Last year I did Key Club, which is a community service group. It was similar like to us doing good deeds, but it focuses more on just community service. Yeah.
Okay. And you, Julie, what are some of the things that you're involved in at Yorktown besides SAD Club?
SAD Club, and I play lacrosse on the JV team. And Kara and I are both in Operation Grace Foundation. It's a club run by a teacher in our school, and that's basically meant to promote doing good deeds, and we like to go and visit the elementary schools as well and kind of give them some good ideas.
Yeah. So there's a lot, I hear you guys talking a lot about speaking to younger children, and you know, I think that that can be so effective where it's not just adults talking to kids, but it's, you know, you're not peers, you're a little bit older and can speak from experience and give them an idea about, you know, what it means to be a teenager, you know, and some of the different things to get involved in and some of the different, you know, just values and outlooks.
They definitely like look up to us and they prefer to listen to us rather than their parents or other adults. And if they're hearing it from us, they might actually listen and take it into consideration. And if they're learning from a young age, they'll know right from wrong and they'll just learn healthy behavior.
And when it comes to prevention, which is really what SAD Club is and VASA Club is, we know that hearing it from different areas is important. So they hear it from their parents, and they hear it in health class, and they can hear it from high school students that they look up to, and help to counter some of those messages like we were talking about before, you know, from the media. So sports, you were saying cheerleading and lacrosse. Are there any things outside of the high school community that you're involved in?
I know, Kara, you're on the Relay for Life team.
Yeah.
That's definitely cancer.
Cancer awareness and like raising money for that. That's a major part. You're not doing it?
No.
All right. What else? I don't know. I go to sleepaway camp or we do community service and that kind of stuff. So. Yeah.
So you plan on continuing your involvement with SAD and hopefully being in a leadership role. And what about, you know it's a while away, but when you think about your graduation and after graduation, what are your plans?
Well, obviously want to go to college, and if there's something along the lines of this in college of a club where you can promote like making healthy behavior, like decisions, and against drug and alcohol abuse at young age, like underage and stuff, I would definitely consider being in that kind of club in a college, and
Well, I know you'll be able to find it because there is that movement, you know, in the next stage of life and on college campuses of, you know, discouraging the risk behaviors and encouraging people to make the right choice and the healthy choice that's going to be the best for them. And how about you, Julie? What are your plans?
I also plan to go to college, and even if I don't find a club, I plan to follow the SAD mission to make healthy choices, wear my seatbelt, and everything I signed off on for the pledge.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm very, very impressed with you girls and your participation, you know, in this interview today and your participation in the SAD Club activities. I hope that you will stay on with us and be leaders. I think you have exhibited so many of the qualities necessary for a leader, and you're obviously, you know, thinking critically about, you know, what goes on and what students are exposed to and what the potential dangers could be. You know, I know in our community we've been through a lot. You know, so it's important to talk about these things. So I want to thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you very much for joining us and watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you tune in every Sunday for more information from the Alliance for Safe Kids and more about what's happening in our community.
It's over. Wow.
It's a long road for you and me. It's a long road that I can see. you find